Everyone, and welcome back to Rogers Reports. I'm your host with the most. You guys can call me Rogers. And before we get into today's video, we are so close to 3,600 Aston Villa legends, that's you, on the channel. So if you want to help me out to produce the best and greatest content going forward, be sure to leave a like, subscribe down below with notifications on so you don't miss a thing, and comment your thoughts on each and every video's subject matter, because I love the discussion with you guys down below. And what are we going to be talking about today? Well, it has come out very, very recently that Aston Villa will be willing to listen to offers for two players who both have played parts, one a very big part in our Champions League season in the club. And the first is, of course, Leon Bailey, a 10-goal, 10 assist in all competitions, absolute hero for Aston Villa in that season, that historic season that we finished fourth and secured ourselves that Champions League qualification. Has fallen off a little bit since then though, and the other being one of our own JJ, Jacob Ramsey, who hasn't really shone particularly under Unai Emery, which makes it a little bit more understandable. And with PSR, I know we've passed this year's PSR, but it's just a revolving door. It comes back around. The pure profit from that sale might be quite substantial to be in a sustainable club in the future and ensuring no further breaches. So we're going to have a look at both the players under Unai Emery, see what they've done for him, and then discuss what these two players being for sale could mean for Villa going forward. And I think, again, a theme that I have been saying in pretty much all of my most recent videos, signals are changing in the way that Aston Villa are going to play football. Let's go. And we kick things off with Leon Bailey. Now, I enjoyed him so much in a Villa shirt the season before last when we finished fourth, that he's actually on my away kit for this season, and obviously it hasn't really gone particularly well. He is now 27 years of age, he'll be 28 by the time the next season rolls around. Been playing for Villa since August 2021. He was a Dean Smith signing off of the back of the Jack Grealish £100 million sale to Manchester City, but this season hasn't really worked out for him. 24 games, 14 starts, 2 assists, and only the 1 goal. But if we do look at that, I mean, last season for Villa, he was an absolute phenom. 10 goals and 9 assists in the Premier League, as well as 4 goals and 4 assists in the Conference League, combining for a total of 14 goals and 13 assists in all competitions, 27 goal involvements in just 52 games for Aston Villa. But again, this season, I mean, got a goal and an assist in the Champions League, an assist in the EFL. He just hasn't worked out for him. When we look at him under Emery, so Emery came in this season, 4 goals, 4 assists in 33. Obviously, that first season he signed, we all thought he was going to be the best player ever when he scored that goal against Everton. And then he was just injured for effectively a massively long period of time. And that happened to him again this season. And I'm not sure it's going to get any better. Again, we look at him in the Premier League this year, not a regular starter under Unai Emery. The pass accuracy, awful for how we play. The cross accuracy, almost a joke. Couldn't complete that many of his dribbles this season. Won a fair amount of his tackles, but you know, you compare it to his last couple of seasons for the club, and I mean, look at that. It's absolute night and day. Look how many successful dribbles right at the top of the league. He was nearly unplayable in that Premier League season. The season before, the first season that Emery came in as well, it's just a lot better, isn't it? The cross accuracy, a lot better. All of the stats here, especially assists in the green. 42 successful dribbles, again, puts him right up the top. In the Premier League this season, though, what are they, 22? You know, even per 90s, I know he hasn't played that much football this season. It's all right, but it's only the 70th percentile, and he really fell out of favour this season, even so much as to go as we're playing Rogers out on the right, who isn't a right footer in any sense of the imagination. So Leon Bailey, the sale, I get it. I don't think Emery likes him in the team anymore. I don't think he's going to be able to play his way back into the squad and get to the levels that he was in 2023. But what about one of our own, right? Jacob Ramsey, as we switch the screen over here. You can see only 24 years of age, but that market value is absolutely huge. And apparently we aren't entertaining any offers if they aren't in that £40 million or more category. This season, again though, yes, he's had his injury troubles, and we know he's had his injury troubles over the past. But out of 29 games, only 19 of them started. You know, a goal and 3 assists. We look down here, his pass accuracy is okay. Dribble success ratio is very, very good. Successful dribbles, though, do let him down a little bit. Tackling is all okay. I mean, under Emery, he has had a lot of injuries under Emery. I will say that for JJ. But, you know, the first season under Emery, he actually was sort of touted to be, I think, probably the next Emery guy. I think he might have been what Emery has made Rodgers into. I think Emery might have hoped that JJ could get to those levels. You know, the 6 goals and 7 assists in the Premier League. One of our standout players for that season. The next season obviously got injured almost straight away, and 1 goal, 1 assist. This season, again, he's played a decent amount of football, right? 45 games, done all right in the FA Cup, Champions League, 2 assists and a goal in 10. But, you know, just hasn't, I mean, you know, to go from, again, the first season under Emery where we all thought, hang on, I mean, look at the stats from this season. We were thinking, we've got a bloody player on our hands here, and a quite a good one. But again, he's fallen off. That left mid spot generally went to John McGinn, who's not a natural winger, over Jacob Ramsey. And to me, that says everything. When a player who doesn't play that position, similarly, I know Morgan Rogers can play on the right. I much think he's better as a number 10 or on the left. But when a player that doesn't play your position is getting picked in your position over you, I think you know the writing could be on the wall. So how do these 2 sales affect the squad? Well, for my money, this was probably the most used Aston Villa squad last season in the Premier League. Martinez, Digne, Pau, Konsa, Cash, Onana and Kamara, Tielemans, Rodgers, McGinn and Ollie Watkins. I think overall, most minutes played, that's probably what you're looking at in each position. So what about Leon Bailey and Jacob Ramsey? Well, if we go all the way back to the start of the season, I think this team doesn't really change too much. There were some games where obviously Rodgers would come into the middle, and then McGinn would usually stay out on the left, to be fair, or even maybe go out on the right with JJ on the left. So if we just swap some things around here, Onana didn't come straight into the team. Kamara obviously injured as well. Actually, to be fair, Kamara did start a little bit more towards the start of the season, whilst Kamara was obviously out injured. So you'd be looking maybe at something like that further towards the start of the season. So yes, JJ was in, but guess what? As soon as the time came, things changed, and changed quite drastically. JJ was dropped straight away for Marcus Rashford to come in to the team. Rodgers was pushed out to the right to make way for a certain Marcus Asensio, and then Tielemans would generally operate in the middle with one of Kamara, let's put that right there, Kamara or McGinn or Onana, or McGinn would come on for Rashford later on in the game, or even come on for Rodgers or Asensio, and Rodgers would shift into that centre mid role, cam role. But at no point here are you seeing Leon Bailey particularly factored into the team. No point really have we seen an extended period of time where JJ has been factored into the team. Other players have just been above them. Rashford and McGinn obviously above JJ for a majority of the season. Even Rodgers has featured as a left winger for Villa this season to accommodate for Asensio in the middle. Rodgers out on the right hand side. McGinn has been given the nod out on the right hand side. Heck, even sometimes we play Matty Cash in a slightly further forward role. Jaden Philogene got a couple of starts out there as well. So would these, is it great to have the likes of Leon Bailey and Jacob Ramsey on the bench? Absolutely. But when we're getting linked, and we're going to get into this a little bit more with some of the wingers that we are getting linked with, I think these 2 sales out of the whole squad that I'm looking at in front of me right now, they sort of make sense. And I don't know whether you would agree, comment down below, but they make sense. I really do think so. So would the sales of Leon Bailey and Jacob Ramsey ultimately hurt as a Villa fan who's watched them over the past few seasons? Yes. However, let me ask you one simple question. One Villa fan to another. We managed to recuperate maybe 60 to 70 million pounds from the sales of Leon Bailey and Jacob Ramsey. We pocket their salaries, of which Leon Bailey is on a decent amount. And we get to keep the likes of Morgan Rogers. We get to keep the likes of Boubacar Kamara. We get to keep the likes of Ezri Konsa. I think, Tielemans as well. I think as a Villa fan, you have to box smart. We know we're going to have to sell. We understand that now. The ESR regulations that have come in state that we have to be in a positive balance to register new players from next season onwards in European competitions. And we're being linked with players that we might be able to get on cut price deals, right? Dusan Vlahovic, apparently available for as little as 20 million euros, 12.6-ish million pounds, possibly the fee going that low. Igor Paxiao, possibly available for between 20 to 25 million. Johan Bakayoko, available for 21 million. All these wingers and strikers and attackers and fantastic players that we're getting linked with to keep that balance, or that us in a net positive of transfers. It's sad, but I think these sales just make sense. God damn, what a sad world we live in, Jane.